English language on Canal International. We'll begin with our top stories. Administration Paul Afanganji has taken the political landscape by storm, sending warning shots to some political party leaders to toe the legal line by respecting the prescription of the 1990 law on the creation of political parties in Cameroon. And farmers in the Thames Valley of Yabasi subdivision are facing a dire situation as over 5,000 unidentified cattle wreak havoc on their plantation. And Muslim faithfuls have begun observing the Ramadan fast, the third pillar of Islam, which reinforces all the others with determination. They trust and believe Allah will see them through out these holy months of fasting. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. I'm called Maureen and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast, the English language on Canal International. The Minister of Administration, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Afanganji, has taken the political landscape by storm, sending warning shots to some political party leaders to toe the legal line by respecting the prescription of the 1990 law on the creation of political parties in Cameroon. In a heat-breaking communique, Minister Paul Afanganji has warned political party leaders who go by names contrary to the law as such meetings do not orthodox move is tantamount to provocation or a declaration of war against the states of Cameroon. We'll come back to that in our subsequent editions of newscasts. A dire situation as over 5,000 unidentified cattle wreak or havoc on their plantations. The influx believed to be prompting urgent calls for assistance. More in the full story. A crisis is unfolding as the farmers grapple with the aftermath of severe destruction caused by thousands of unidentified cattle. For weeks now, these farmers, like countless others in the region, have witnessed their livelihoods decimated as their plantations fall victim to the relentless grazing that was supposed to take care of my children. I'm yet to recover from the destruction. The problem has been on for over 3 months now. Banana groups reeling from substantial losses. The population now faces an uncertain future is urgently seeking aid to mitigate the unprecedented impact of climate change exacerbated by this influx of cattle. The situation is further compounded by the belief that these cattle have migrated from drought-stricken regions seeking refuge in the wetter Canal Valley temporarily. However, the unintended consequences of their presence has been catastrophic for the local farming communities. It's tough for us. We can't survive with this. The destruction of our plantation by cattle is giving us a nightmare. Sometimes I'm awake all night trying to chase them away from my farm, but all in vain. Despite the farmers' efforts to address the issue, including lodging numerous complaints with the authorities, hope for swift intervention and compensation for the losses incurred remains elusive. And the dust is yet to settle on the ongoing demolition galore in Douala to bring down buildings standing as a death trap to the population. This time it is a building at Cliquez, Douala, for a municipality that was pulled down by the Douala City Council. Kizi Kiga tells us more.
Constructed in 1991 and left uncompleted for several years, two-story building was a threat to the occupants and area residents. The Civil Protection Department of the City Council reacted promptly to complaints from residents of the neighborhood.
Les meubles si même, c'est depuis 81.
This building was constructed since 1991. I was young by then. It's really been long. The owner had died, but his wife is still alive. She was here, and because of tiredness and illness, she left. Neighbors recount this building had been a threat to them and those living closer to the building.
The state of this house was not very nice, because since I was here, because I'm a woman that is, I'm married here. My husband is still here, and since about 35 years old, I'm here. Yes, I was told my children and daughter don't go there because the place is very dangerous.
Le danger que l'immeuble représentait, c'est
was a risk because it was already collapsing.
en train de s'écrouler seul.
The building, just like many others, were erected without respecting construction norms laid down by the council. There are civil rules to be respected when constructing a house to assure the house could last longer. If not, with time, it will be risky for neighbors. Accidents and death might occur. We were called that it was risky. The reason we are here today is because we were informed about the incident. We are calling on the population that when there is a construction like this, there is always a control process. An architect and an engineer should be consulted to draw a plan. A hotline has been communicated to the people for any notification in case they find such unorthodox construction going on.
And we stay in Cameroon's economic hub, Douala, but this time around we talk about the deplorable states of roads that continue to frustrate inhabitants in areas such as Baho, Bepanda, Omispo, and many other neighborhoods. The population remain disgruntled about the current situation. More on the story with our reporter, Christy Ayari.
As the rainy season fast approaches, the population is growing increasingly worried about the deteriorating condition of the roads. The roads in Chokonbaho, Omispo, and Monte American in Bepanda are in an appalling state, filled with numerous potholes that hinder the movement of pedestrians and riders. Just this small rain, and you see the state of the road is really poor. The road of Bepanda in Monte American is really bad. It's been more than 2 years we are in this situation. A big misery for this mother who sells food around this road. I sell food inside water every morning. I come here. I am forced to clean this place. Customers are complaining they can't eat in such an environment. The population are pleading on the competent authorities to urgently address this pressing issue. The state should help us arrange this road. That is our wish. We will be very happy. We are tired. We are asking for this now. In addition to the poor state of road, another concern is the accumulation of waste dumped at the middle of the road.
Hostages in the Douala region have been liberated from their captors grip over the weekend from forces of the 5th Rapid Intervention Battalion. This terrain rescue marks the culmination of a meticulously executed operation initiated last Thursday in the heart of Benue Park. More on the story with our reporter Gladys Ambo Tiba.
10 captives, 7 from the north and 3 from the Adamawa region of Cameroon, have been freed after enduring psychological trauma for over 2 weeks. Despite facing severe maltreatment during their ordeal, these individuals, aged 10 to 66, expressed relief and gratitude for regaining their freedom. Amongst them is the eldest victim, Awa, abducted from his Ongbali village in the Mayure division. Their release follows a rescue operation initiated by elements of the 5th Military Intervention Battalion and local vigilante group, resulting in the discovery of a cache of weapons, ammunition, drugs, and charms. No ransom was paid. Instead, the defense forces ensured their safe return.
I was kidnapped from my house and I spent 3 weeks with my kidnappers.
The ransom usually asked by kidnappers range between 5 to 30 million francs CFA. None of the victims offered to pay. Fortunately, defense and security forces secured their release.
The successful operation carried out on Thursday, March 7, 2024, is credited to the collaborative efforts of the vigilante group, local population, and defense forces.
We have carried out several operations within the past few months, which led to the neutralization of several gangs, and those captives were released. We specifically wish to commend the efforts of vigilante groups and the population for their collaboration. During our last meeting some 6 weeks ago with traditional authorities and defense forces, we decided to secure our geographical space. This is the positive result.
As the freed individuals return home just as Ramadan fasting begins, they express profound gratitude to the defense forces for ensuring their freedom.
And Muslim faithfuls have begun observing the Ramadan fast, the third pillar of Islam, which reinforces every or all the others with determination. They trust and believe Allah will see them throughout this holy month of Ramadan. More with our reporter, Beatrice Ngamo.
Spiritually, Muslims are observing the Ramadan fast with great optimism as they are physically set for the journey.
That is, fasting is the third pillar of Islam. It is during the fasting period that you will see the character of a true Muslim, that is physically and spiritually. And despite all the challenges, we are very certain that Allah will see us through.
The month of Ramadan is really a month of adoration, so we are very happy. It's happened to be one of the pillars of Islam. So us, the Muslims, an obligation where when this is coming, we see it's a very big visitor that we are prepared and ready to welcome.
Since the fasting runs from dawn to sunset, the show of solidarity, charity, and love, the preoccupation for many.
It teaches us how to be patient. Patient, you know that to stay the whole day, you have not eaten is really something not easy. We are not patient. And it teaches us to know how the poor are living, because the rich people to help the poor, to give charities, to make sure that everything is working okay, and it's also bring cohesion, solidarity, and all of that.
This observation of fasting during this holy month of Ramadan lasts between 29 to 30 days, depending on the sighting of the crescent moon.
And as you heard in that report, the fasting for Ramadan has begun today, Tuesday, and a lot of Muslims in Douala, almost all of them, have made adjustments on how they will overcome the month-long fasting period. Our reporter, Christy Aya Are, met Abubakar, a Muslim faithful, and heads of a family of 4 to find out how ready they are as they embark on this deep spiritual reflection.
Abubakar, accompanied by his 2 children, are buried in deep meditation, reading the Quran as they poise to begin the fasting. This will be a part of their routine throughout the month of Ramadan. During this fasting period, Muslims devote themselves entirely to Allah, prayers, abstinence, and sharing.
From today, you are taking our time is for prayer and to pray, to praise the Lord, to say that all our needs, and to pray for health. We pray for peace also in our country, in our family.
Children aged 4 to 8 years are expected to fast at least for 5 hours. However, it is not an obligation for them.
They are too small for now. They are kids, as you said. They are trying. They are just trying to copy what we are doing. If they see without eating during the day. They intend to do like us.
After a long meditation, Abubakar and his 2 children head to the market to purchase food items necessary for breaking their evening fasting. Their daily routine involves waking up at 3 a.m., praying, eating around 4 to 5 a.m. with prayers during the day, and at sunset, they break their fast. These activities will continue throughout the 30 days of intense fasting.
And in the last 3 weeks, blood transfusion or collection has moved from 99,850 units to 14,000 to 147,000 units, far below national blood transfusion needs that stands at 400,000 units annually. Major challenge for the 3 national blood transfusion service, despite some evolution. This was at the center of deliberations between central and external collaborations. Beatrice Gamo has the rest of that story.
About 400,000 bags of blood are needed yearly to satisfy patients who lost blood through surgery, hemorrhage, labor and injury, or in situation where the blood is unable to produce sufficient quantity due to an illness. Unfortunately, the deficit gap of 350,000 bags of blood, big challenge for the National Blood Transfusion Service, whose collection, though evolving slowly but sure, this alongside the transitory.
In 2020, blood collections were around 99,850, and in 2021, it increased to about 140,000 units, and in 2022, it went to about 147,000 units. We are still finalizing data for 2023, and I am sure it will be even higher. So we are transfusion service. That transition warrants that there is some time. So in Cameroon at the moment, we still rely on hospitals to collect blood.
Meeting with members of the central and decentralized structures for the first time this Tuesday in Yaoundé, Professor Dora Mbanya and collaborators are examining strategies that can help promote blood donation and moving forward continuously with the population. This especially as the blood transfusion service has been endowed with some 20 vehicles for the 10 regions of the country. The service is also looking forward to having a befitting national building and regional structures. All efforts to effectively contribute to the reduction of blood-related deaths here in Cameroon.
And many are those who have adulterated their culture, injecting foreign ways into their tradition despite the derive. The people of Bali Inyonga are settling the record straight by maintaining the originality of their culture. This is why they are preserving the originality of the Ngwe dance imported hundreds of years ago from the cross state of Nigeria. Kejang Henry Atembe tells us more.
The people of Balinjonga in the northwest of Cameroon are leaving no stone unturned to standardize one of the weights of their civilization. On March 9, 2024, the Ngwe dance was at the forefront of a cultural jamboree that took place in Bonaberi, Douala.
We had lost a lot of these traditional values because of the situation the region is going through, and we thought since we are a bit safer this way, we could bring in the cream of cultural persons from the village and talk and chart a way forward so that when they leave from here, after having spoken with them, we have the temperature.
Imported from the Cross River state of Nigeria hundreds of years ago, this dance is practiced in some parts of Cameroon, particularly in the Bayangi land.
I took from the form to its subjects here was simply to thank them deciding to arrange this cultural activity under the auspices of Ngwe, and especially to thank those in Douala who took the who handle the touch to make sure that that takes place.
Recently, the custodians of the Balinyonga culture have noticed with dismay how this dance, reserved only for the initiated, has been adulterated.
Actually, it's a culture that emanated from Nigeria through Calabar into Manfe, then this spread all over Northwest. And the essence of it is culture, is to enjoy ourselves as men, because women are not part of this organization. It's only for the initiator until you are a member of it.
7 federations from Cameroon and the diaspora converged to set the harmonization standard of the Ngwe dance, which must be practiced by all the sons of Balinyonga.
Actually, if you go here, you get some sound. The sound that are coming is in what we call the powerhouse, the Ngumba house. There you, as in with your normal, you are not supposed to go there. Only people that have actually been baptized.
The Ngwe dance is practiced only by men admitted in the circle of the initiated after being groomed by the custodians of the Balinyonga culture.
And some 62 players continue to wait for their fate to be decided upon by the Cameroon Football Federation after declaring them not eligible for the playoffs for reason of double identity. In a press conference this Tuesday in Yaoundé, the different organs of the football body attempted clarifications to the age scandals coming at the eve of the final phase of the Elite 1 and 2 championships. Haisencha has the rest of that story.
With barely 2 days to the start of the Elite 1 and 2 playoffs in Cameroon, football lovers are shocked to note that 62 players have been temporarily declared not eligible for the competition for reason of double identity. Players that have fully played the championship this football season, with some like Wilfred Nathan Douala being part of the indomitable Lions squad for AFCON in Ivory Coast. Why checked the legitimacy of the players towards the end of the championship? The Cameroon Football Federation clarifies.
When you have two phases like this happens. The players that take place in the qualifiers of the Nations Cup or the World Cup are not the players that will necessarily play the World Cup. And in our case, the rules of the competition says before the beginning of the playoff, the Secretary General of the Federation will publish the final list of players that will be eligible to take part to the competition, after which no reclamation or reserve or protest will be made on the qualification of the players. That's the reason of that list.
And another polemics of qualifying clubs for the next round through the office after filing of complaints. The FECAFOOT Appeal Committee insists that all was done in conformity with the laws. During our last session, we examined the decision of the homologation organ transmitted to us by the disciplinary committee. We made decisions in conformity with the judicial text of FECAFOOT. The explanations made before the press this March 12 at the Football House in Yaoundé as they unveiled the program of the playoffs to kickstart on Friday, March 15. While clubs seeking the crown in Elite 1 will be battling in Douala, those fighting to escape relegation to Elite 2 will be showing their prowess in Yaoundé. And in Elite 2 to be played in Bafsam and Buda, 8 clubs are seeking to get the 2 tickets into top flight football, while 8 others will be struggling to run away from dropping to the regional leagues. Meantime, the fate of the players accused of frauding their ages will be made public before kickoff.
And that was how we saw it on this edition of the Prime Time Newscast in the English language on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching, but take another rendezvous same time tomorrow. Goodbye.